Hi everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to read to you a book that is probably the ones that I miss the most reading to my class. I'm a former first grade teacher. I'm taking some time off to stay home with my little girl, but I love reading aloud to my students, and this was by far one of the best books to read aloud, and I always saved it special every winter. So, because we just got snow at our house, I thought this would be a great read today. So this book is called Thomas's Snowsuit by R. Munch and M. Martichenko. As you can tell, this book is much loved. It's an older book, but it is a crowd pleaser. One day, Thomas's mother bought him a nice new brown snowsuit. When Thomas saw that snowsuit, he said, "This is the ugliest thing I have ever seen in my life. If you think that I'm going to wear that ugly snowsuit, you are crazy." Thomas's mother said, "We will see about that." The next day, when it was time to go to school, the mother said, "Thomas, please put on your snowsuit." And Thomas said, "No." Uh-oh. How do you think Thomas's mom feels about that? How would your parents feel if you talked to them like that? Are you allowed to say no at your house? Let's see. His mother jumped up and down and said, "Thomas, put on that snowsuit." And Thomas said, "No." So Thomas's mother picked up Thomas in one hand, picked up the snowsuit in the other hand, and she tried to stick them together. They had an enormous fight, and when it was done, Thomas was in his snowsuit. Look at this picture. Now the cover makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? They had a huge fight. Enormous means huge or gigantic, and we can tell from these picture clues. Their chair is knocked over, the lampshade is crooked, that pillow is losing some of its stuffing, and oh my goodness, his mom looks worn out. And Thomas does not look happy. Thomas went off to school and hung up his snowsuit. When it was time to go outside, all the other kids jumped into their snowsuits and ran out the door. But not Thomas. The teacher looked at Thomas and said, "Thomas, please put on your snowsuit." Thomas said, "No." The teacher jumped up and down and said, "Thomas, put on that snowsuit." And Thomas said, "No." Uh-oh. Thomas isn't being very respectful to his teacher. So the teacher picked up Thomas in one hand, picked up the snowsuit in the other hand, and she tried to stick them together. They had an enormous fight, and when they were done, the teacher was wearing Thomas's snowsuit, and Thomas was wearing the teacher's dress. Oh my goodness, how silly is that? Look at that teacher wearing that snowsuit. Look at Thomas, he's wearing his teacher's dress. Silly. They shouldn't be wearing each other's clothes. And look, we can see in our picture clues that they had an enormous fight. It's all messy. When the teacher saw that what she was wearing, she picked up Thomas in one hand and tried to get him back into his snowsuit. They had an enormous fight. When they were done, the snowsuit and the dress were tied into a big knot on the floor, and Thomas and the teacher were in their underclothes. Oh no! Just then, the door opened and in walked the principal. The teacher said, "It's Thomas. He won't put on his snowsuit." Oh, how embarrassing. Ugh. I don't know. What do you think that principal's thinking? He doesn't look very happy. The principal gave his very best principal look and said, "Thomas, put on your snowsuit." And Thomas said, I bet everybody can guess, "No!" Oh man, giving a very big principal look. You can tell from some of the details in these illustrations that this is an old book. Principals do not smoke pipes at school. That's not good for you, right? I wonder what they're going to do next. So, the principal picked up Thomas in one hand, and he picked up the teacher in the other hand, and he tried to get them back into their clothes. When he was done, the principal was wearing the teacher's dress, the teacher was wearing the principal's suit, and Thomas was still in his underwear. Then, from far out in the playground, someone yelled, "Thomas, come and play!" Thomas ran across the room, jumped into his snowsuit, got his boots on in 2 seconds, and ran out the door. Now you gotta see this illustration. Oh my goodness. That's too silly. Their clothes are swapped. I don't think those socks go with that dress very well. And Thomas in his underwear. Now what are the principal and the teacher going to do to make this right? Because Thomas is out with his friends now. The principal looked at the teacher and said, "Hey, you have on my suit. Take it off right now." The teacher said, "Oh no, you have on my dress. You take off my dress first." Well, they argued and argued and argued, but neither one wanted to change first. I can't blame them. That would be kind of embarrassing, huh? Finally, Thomas came in from recess. He looked at the principal, and he looked at the teachers. Thomas picked up the principal in one hand. He picked up the teacher in the other hand. They had an enormous fight, and Thomas got everybody back into their clothes. Whew. The next day, the principal quit his job and moved to Arizona, where nobody ever wears a snowsuit. And that's the end. Thank you so much for listening today. Here's a little bit more about the author and illustrator. And I hope you all enjoyed that book as much as I do. Again, it's one of my favorite ones to read aloud. It's especially fun when you read it a couple times and everybody starts reading along at the end. So I hope you have a safe winter. Stay warm.